The racetrack, the place where the rubber hits the road. Blistering speeds, tight turns, the thrill of adrenaline, where a few hundredths of a second is the difference between sweet victory and bitter defeat. I pull up to the starting line and hit the throttle, again, and again, and again. Because in this race, there are no other cars to edge out in the final stretch. In this race, I'm going toe-to-toe with my greatest enemy. Me. Welcome to Random Game Reviews. I put every game in the PlayStation Store into a spreadsheet, and let my AI chatbot pal Woodlebot, who I use as a glorified random number generator, tell me which game I will play and review. For this episode, I asked my supporters on Patreon what games they wanted to see me review, and chose randomly from that list, which is why I'll be reviewing Trackmania. Trackmania is a free-to-play racing game that focuses on the nerdiest kind of racing there is, the time trial. In time trial racing, it's you against the clock, making small, gradual improvements to gain a better rank on the leaderboard. There's a world ranking, but it would probably feel pretty bad to turn in a good result only to find out that you came in 347,102nd place or whatever. So to lessen your feeling of global inadequacy, Trackmania asks you what country you're from, and in some cases your state, region, or province, so that you are mainly rated against people in your area. Since I'm from British Columbia, Canada, they gave me this nifty Canada racer, and my trusty Canada mobile, which can drive 20 kilometers per liter of maple syrup in the gas tank. Trackmania competitions are broken into seasons, which are made up of 25 races. Each individual race will award medals based on hitting specific time thresholds. These medals are bronze, silver, gold, and the author medal, which you receive when you beat the best time of the person who made the level. The medals matter because you need so many of them to progress further in the season. Within each season, there's a decent variety of levels. Some are pretty straightforward, others are technically challenging, some lean heavily on a gimmick, and some just send you flying down an icy slope like a crazy rocket-powered bobsled hurtling towards certain death. One of the first things you'll notice about this game is that it's incredibly haunted. You race against the ghosts of past racers so that you have a visual representation to compete against. And once you've completed a track once, wait, who's this motherfucker? You think you're better than me? I immediately lose interest in every other ghost on the track and am focused solely on defeating the self-satisfied douchebag that is me from 1 minute ago. But I quickly run into a speed bump because I'm unable to replicate how I handled the first 2 turns on my earlier run and leave myself in my own dust. Failure dust. Over and over I watch my personal best pull out ahead of me, and wonder how I'm supposed to live up to the man I used to be earlier today. In terms of controls, this game is fairly simple because it basically just comes down to gas, brake, and restart. But I found that I didn't want to hit brake when I could avoid it because it slowed me down too much, opting instead to just lay off the gas for a microsecond before hitting it again to make my corner. So then it's really just gas and restart, and you'll hit restart a lot because it's real easy to go flying off the track when you reach the game's absolutely ludicrous speeds, which you can see tracked on the back of your car. You are going to crash. Like, a lot of times. And while the controls are simple, there are definitely intricacies in navigating the tracks that aren't immediately apparent, making Trackmania difficult to master. The races themselves are fairly short, which is good because I can tell you from experience that getting to the end of one of the longer tracks and screwing up right before the end feels real bad. I can feel Canada racers' shame. These races are meant to be fast, tense, and kind of floaty to give you the sense that you're constantly on the precipice of disaster with one wrong move, because you are. In my quest to defeat myself, I finally figure out the first section, but I just can't catch up to myself, finishing the race 6 seconds behind, 2.5 seconds behind, 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds, 0.8 seconds. I'm clearly improving, but how did I do this last time? I just keep failing over and over and over. In going up against my personal best, I'm feeling my personal worst. But this encapsulates the experience of Trackmania. Not the feeling bad about yourself part. This game is actually quite fun. But you'll get hung up in a spot, restart, screw up before you can even get to that spot again. Restart. Try to figure out the angles, hit that spot you're working on, and go flying off the track. Restart again. It's all about hammering away at each section and figuring the track out, following the ghost's examples, getting a little better all the time. You'll think you're on track for the perfect run, and you'll f it up somewhere new, and then things will click. And you'll suddenly be weirdly good at a track that was giving you nothing but grief minutes before. Mastering the track is a process, but in my singular and personal quest for incremental improvement, I found Trackmania put me in a trance-like state with its thumping soundtrack, and the 10 minutes I intended to play for quickly turned into an hour. I line up against myself again, and finally I have a good run. I come out the gate strong and nail the first turn. Turn 2 goes how I want it to, and so does turn 3, and I'm able to pull out ahead. This is it! This is what I've been working towards. This is where I finally overtake this SOB. This is where I hit a tree right at the end. God, I hate that guy. When you're not grinding it out to knock nanoseconds off your best time, there are a couple other free-to-play modes. In Royal, you compete as a team of 3 to complete insane gimmick levels that have several different sections to clear. The 3 worst performing teams get kicked out each level. I was really bad at this mode and got carried super hard, which speaks to the level of disparity between new and seasoned players. Then there's Ranked, where you compete as a team of 3 to complete the same track over and over again to see which team can run it the best. Each player receives points based on what place they came in, and the best overall score wins the round. I was much better at this mode, but found that ranked matches usually ended up kind of one-sided. Finally, there's a track builder, which is very reminiscent of the roller coaster designer in Roller Coaster Tycoon. I could see where someone could pour a lot of hours into this. If you want to play other people's created levels, you must step beyond the bounds of your free-to-play modes and subscribe for a yearly membership. There are 2 membership tiers, and I couldn't see any compelling reason to not just subscribe to the cheaper level at $13 Canadian for the year. Getting this pass lets you play special daily races, any past seasons that Trackmania has run, as well as seasons created by specific clubs that have formed in the game. Going through the club level menu, it becomes quickly apparent that there is a very overwhelming number of levels to choose from. And while they can be pretty cool, I didn't enjoy them the same way I enjoyed the mass competition season infrastructure of the main game mode. There just isn't that same feeling of reward when you rank top 100 in British Columbia on a level that maybe only 100 people from your region have played. While $13 for an entire year of season pass access is a very good deal in the world of free-to-play, I can't imagine it's a subscription I would renew when everything I enjoyed was available for free. But if you want to dive headfirst into Trackmania, there is a huge worldwide competitive scene with infamous high scores and years-long battles between top racers. What made me really like this game, aside from it being well-produced, fun, and addictive, is that while there are rankings, the main goal is to just do a little better. The prompt to retry a race is improve, and I think that we could stand to have more games that are built around doing your personal best. The game isn't asking you to not suck, it's encouraging you to suck slightly less all the time. I line up to go again, eager to beat my personal best once and for all. I slam the accelerate button, ready to hit the first turn, but have a tough start. I'm shaky on the first few turns and fall behind. I see my a-hole past self ahead of me, but instead of hitting restart, I feel a fire in my very soul. I grip the controller a little tighter, lean forward, and hang in through to the back half where I get a good line, and accelerate long enough to push past my dumb ghost. Just gotta hang on. The finish line is right there. I managed to hang on and embarrass my loser past self by all of 0.452 seconds. But that's what the game is about. Small, incremental, minuscule, imperceptible improvements. In this race, I learned the most important lesson. Just hang in there if you fall behind. You can make up the time. But after all this, my time still wasn't good enough for gold, so I hit the improve button again. Hey, who's this motherfucker? It's time to answer the question, would I play this game if I was not destined to do so? For Trackmania, the answer is yes. In the world of free-to-play games, Trackmania is a breath of fresh air in terms of how much gameplay it actually offers you for free. And the people who would pay for the extra content are the people who this game is made for. People who love to quantify their skills and or relish incremental progress. On the flip side of that, be warned that Trackmania is not for people who get easily frustrated. While I didn't really care that much about any of the modes outside of the core season time trial mode, Trackmania offers a polished and fun experience that is easy to play, but hard to master. That does it for this episode. I want to thank SimKiller for recommending this game. If you want to take part in future game request episodes, all you have to do is subscribe to the Patreon at the 2nd or 3rd tier. The Patreon community has been a huge help in developing this channel and gives me the financial freedom to do the thing I love, play weird games that I never would have played otherwise because fate demanded it. If you want to support the channel, the link is in the video description. Until next time, make sure to improve incrementally so you can show yourself who's boss, and I'll see you all soon on Random Game Reviews. Thanks as always to my subscribers on Patreon. I asked my friends on the Discord to tell me what country they hail from so we can see what their Trackmania racers look like. Behold,